Hi, this is Micah Mitchell, your logical zebra. I want to take a few minutes to talk about something that was on my mind this morning. I've thought about it before, but it's on my mind today. As you know, my family and I went up to Frankton, Indiana to enjoy a little bit of Frankton Heritage Days, a little festival for the heritage of the town of Frankton. And I was thinking about, of course, I'm biracial, and so my mom's side of the family, they're Irish. I mean, last name Murphy, you don't get any more Irish than that. And so several of my family members are down in Indianapolis enjoying Irish Fest. A few weeks ago, Indianapolis had Greek Fest. Back in June, there was an Asian Fest, Italian Fest, both of those in early or mid-June, second week of June or so. Of course, various places across the country will soon be celebrating Oktoberfest for German heritage. Indianapolis also has the St. Joan of Arc French market thing that they do. So, a lot of fun festivals, celebrating a lot of different ethnicities. And, which is great. And but then back in the second week of July, Indianapolis had Black Expo. The week before here in Anderson was Black Expo. And when Black Expo happens, people suddenly lose their freaking minds. How can there be an expo for black people? Imagine if there was a white expo, that we'd be racist. And so Black Expo is reverse discrimination or reverse racism. And if you just take the quick listen to it, maybe it seems valid. But here's the thing, again, I'm biracial, so I know that my mom's side of the family has been traced back to the 1200s, the 1300s. Most, especially European-centered white people, you can literally trace, back to your 17 times great-grandfather and what church he was baptized in, or, what synagogue they went through their mitzvah, or, what have you, or they're from Russia or Germany or, Sweden or wherever. White history is very well documented. There were a lot of records that were kept. And so it's very easy to trace what nationality or nationalities you're from or in your heritage. Well, with black people, it's a totally different thing. I can look at my dad's side of the family, and if they're not in a census record or they're not in a record that the family itself has kept, once you get back into the 1800s, good luck. Most black people only know their heritage back to whatever, slave owner had their, ancestors. And before that, very rarely is there any sort of a ship manifest or anything that tells what nation in Africa the slaves came from, because, there was no record kept because they were treated as property. They weren't human beings, or, my dad's ancestors, other black people's ancestors, they were just property back then, economic, chattel to be traded. And so, whether the ancestors were abducted by Europeans for, slave use, or whether they were abducted, by Muslim pirates along the North African coast, or whether they were sold off by their own tribal chieftains for some rum, is irrelevant. Fact is that black people were sold as property. There was no record kept, and because why would they want to keep records on where their property came from? So when people get upset that there's a Black Expo, it's because there aren't good enough records to have a a Liberian Expo or a Nigerian Expo, or any other nation in Africa to have a heritage festival of. And granted, the last couple of generations there have been a lot of Africans who have moved here willingly, and they know where they came from and they know what their heritage is. But for the black folks who are rooted here for generations, that doesn't exist. once you get back into the to the days of slavery. And even in the North, where black people weren't slaves, they still were generally brought over here as slaves and ended up in a, through one means or another, ended up in the North, where they weren't slaves, but there was still no record kept, beyond once they reached a free state. So I guess where I'm going with this, I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but I guess where I'm going is just everybody stop getting bent out of shape about stuff. Who cares if somebody wants to have a festival celebrating their heritage, whether it's an individual heritage like national heritage like Irish Fest, or back in the day when Cinco de Mayo started becoming started getting celebrated here. A lot of people were upset that the Mexicans are taking over America. Mexican culture is trying to take over America. Now people have adapted to that and have a good time, go have a good party just like they do at all these other things, and nobody gets bent out of shape. But again, don't let black people have Black Expo. That's reverse racism. No, it's not. It's an attempt to have a little bit of time, a brotherhood, and a little bit of celebration of the heritage that black people, can celebrate, because again, most of our families don't know exactly where they came from. They just know a continent that they came from. So who freaking cares if they celebrate that? There's no exclusion. It's not blacks only expo. White people, I know here in Anderson, there are probably about as many white people that show up to Black Expo as there are black people. So it's not like it's an exclusion thing or a superiority thing. It's just a culture thing, and getting together and having a good time, and so freaking what? So I guess where I'm going is, let's all stop getting bent out of shape because somebody celebrates their heritage, whatever it is, and let them do it, and heck, join them and have a good time yourself. Who knows? Maybe myself and my fellow biracial people should get together and have Zebra Fest. Who cares? Just have a good time. Let other people have a good time. If you don't like it, don't go. But stop with all it's reverse discrimination and stuff, because it's not. It's not the same thing. So again, I'm starting to ramble, so I'll let it go with that. I just wanted to get that out of my system. So, until next time, I have something to blab at you about. Stay calm, think things through, and stay logical.